So today we are going to go through my booty day. So everybody loves a good glute day, and this is actually a new program for me. So I'm going to kind of go through it, and I got some things on here that I don't normally do. So we're going to kind of work through those together. And then I'm just going to let you know sort of why I do certain things and how I do certain things, because, you know, hopefully I can give you some tips and some pointers to help you improve on some of your exercises. And let's get started. Just do a quick 5-minute walk on the treadmill. Just kind of warms up the muscles. And it also gives you time to get your head in the game, because when you first walk in the gym, a lot of times you're not in the right headspace. Like, you need to have a moment where you've got your music on and it's going and you're just like, I'm gonna get it, right? So you need to have that moment before we get started. I also like to warm up my hips a little bit and just kind of get them open, especially if I'm doing glute day, because I have a really difficult time with mind-muscle connection when it comes to my glutes. So it's really important that I do everything that I can to sort of open up the hips and then activate those muscles so I can get the best out of my workout. Some of these things are like your bread and butter. So we have like hip thrusts on here. We have Romanian deadlifts on here. So those are things that we know are great for building glutes, but because I have a difficult time with that connection, my hamstrings will take over. So it's almost like the muscles that are supposed to be working aren't even getting worked at all. So to combat that, I'm kind of hoping to do some activations with the abduction and adduction. So it's really going to warm up the hips, open them up, and hopefully that will get me warmed up to do the actual hip thrusts. And then we also have Bulgarian Split Squats today, which is nobody's favorite. It's everybody's favorite, but nobody's favorite, because nobody likes to do it, but you know they work. So it's like, you just got to get it done. And everything that we're doing today, hopefully, will be on the heavier side. So the plan is to go a little bit heavier, because in order to build glutes, there's like the 2 golden rules. 1, you got to lift heavy. And 2 is you got to eat the food. And since I had pancakes for breakfast, it should be good to go. I've got my trusty app open that has my workout on here. So it's going to tell me exactly how many reps I'm supposed to do. And then it also helps me with my rest time. So if you just push this little button, it actually does like a countdown for you, which is awesome. So that way you're not like going in too fast or spending way too much time scrolling your phone in between exercises. So this is everything I'm going to be doing today. How many sets, how many reps. So here we go, we're going to get started. So I don't know what it is about having the tension of pushing back while you're doing this, but like you feel it so much more. At least I feel it so much more. And like I feel like I have a much better connection here. And it's just like, you can really feel it. So if you're wondering why I'm not just like opening and closing it, it's because this machine, it's really hard to get it spread apart enough that, that you're not losing tension at the end when you're open. So you gotta like open it way up and then push it closed and climb on. Exercises don't always feel the same for everybody. So I know that for me, I struggle with quite a few things that other people find really easy, and vice versa. So I just wanted to like point that out and make sure that you know that it's okay. It's okay in here. This though is worth its weight in gold if you do hip thrusts. So it's good to have your own. I also have like a belt in here. I have straps. I have my gloves that I use every upper day because I have nice hands and I want to keep them that way. I'm a little bit particular when it comes to my bench when I'm doing hip thrusts because the bench is angled. So usually it like comes to a V. I like to kind of turn it a little bit so that it's more straight on. So that when I'm leaning against it with the barbell, my back is flat and straight on it. I'm not like catty corner. Maybe it's just me being like OCD, but it feels better to me. So, right now we're gonna do some hip thrusts. All right. And I've been doing these on, there's a hip thrust machine here. So I've been doing those for a while. So it's been a minute since I've done just the barbell. But I specifically wanted barbell so I can work on them. All right, I like to keep my feet about shoulder width apart and bring them in just enough. If you have your feet out too wide or too far in front of you, then you get a lot more hamstring involved, which I'm trying to avoid because hamstrings are dominant. So I want to make sure that the focus is mainly on my glutes so I can feel it there. I hate these. And I'm really questioning myself as to why I put them on this program to be videotaped today. Because I never do them because I hate them. I know they're effective. I know they are. But I don't want to do them. How you figure out where your legs should go or how far out your feet should go is you sit on the edge of whatever it is you're using. This is actually designed for Bulgarians, or if you're on a bench, bring your feet out in front of you. Some people bring them in closer, some bring them out further. It depends on what your focus is. If your legs are in a little bit closer, it's going to be more quads. If they're out a little bit more, you're going to get more stretch in your hamstring and your glutes. So what you do is you can mark the spot with your dumbbells, or stand up, and that's going to be how far you need to be. So then you can put your back foot up on the bench or the bar that you've got behind you, and then you're going to come down. And sink back into this knee. Whoop, without moving the bar. Make sure you bring your feet together so that you're not losing your spot. I push my bar back a little bit, so we're just going to bring it forward. I haven't done RDL barbell in a little while, so the way that I do mine, I have to like curl my tailbone under a little bit because I have a lot of pain in my lower back. I think it's due to the scoliosis or whatever that I have, so I get a lot of lower back pain, but I find that like you stand up, and kind of let your shoulders drop in the front and then just slightly like curl in your tailbone a little bit, and that seems to help. my trusty ankle straps. This little stool is worth its weight in gold. Love these things. You can get them super cheap on Amazon. So it's good to have as much of your own stuff as you can, because that way you don't have to rely on the gym. Sometimes things get lost or people take them, and you don't want to be searching for things when you're in the middle of your workout. So it's always great to have like the essentials in your own bag if you can. I mean, pretty much everything is available on Amazon these days. Okay. Elevated. And the reason for elevation is because if you're doing a kickback, you're coming back, your foot's gonna hit the ground. And then you have to make a conscious effort to kind of like make sure it doesn't. We don't want that. We want to be up high enough so that when we come back, we can swing forward and not have to worry about hitting the ground and getting stopped. We want a full range of motion. So I like to keep it back a little bit. Step back, kind of get it lined up. So I make sure I have plenty of room for tension, and also I can lean forward a little bit. I turn my foot out a little bit, so a little bit of an abduction. And then we're gonna kick back. Kickbacks are always a good staple in your workout, whether you do them as an activation in the beginning or going super heavy. It's just a really great isolation movement, especially if you have some asymmetry. So that's something that I don't know people hit on a lot, but if you have one side that's stronger than the other, doing more isolation movements like single kickbacks or single hip thrusts, things like that are always incredibly helpful. So yeah, you just want to make sure you even everything out. The iso movements, because you're doing one leg and then you're doing another leg, that first leg's getting a bit of a break already. So you can do like 30, 45 seconds and then pop back in. So that way your other side is getting that rest, but it's not so much. You don't want to be sitting around hanging out. Like if you're doing heavy compound movements, then you can take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If you're doing sort of that mid-level where it's like it's challenging, yes, but you're not going to failure, then I would say 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So it just depends on how heavy you're going, how taxed you are. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time that your heart rate calms down, but not enough time that you're hanging out and like taking home machines or getting distracted or, you know what I mean, losing your focus. Like you want to stay in it. But those are just things that you want to look out for when it comes to your rest times. And that's something that we're really mindful about when we're creating our programs, is making sure that we're giving people enough rest for certain things that we're expecting, but not too much. Because you don't need to go have a cup of coffee in between your sets, you know what I'm saying?
Sounds awesome.
But I think I'm spent. So I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully you learned a thing or two, and I will definitely be posting more videos, and you'll find all the links for the fun stuff that I use in my workouts down below, so you can grab them yourself if you're interested. And of course, as always, our website link is below, and you'll be able to find all the information on how to contact us, as well as our programs that we offer. And I just want to say again, we appreciate your support so much, and we'll see you soon.